how we can enjoy financial security, and how we can leave a financial legacy for our present and future generation. The text I used there emphasized the interest of God, that God is interested in the prosperity of his people, the latter part of Psalm 35, verse 27. God wants us to be wealthy and be comfortable. And God is highly interested in our financial well-being. So that's why we want to just talk together about, if God is interested in our financial well-being, then why are we carrying the mentality we are carrying about? When we talk about poverty, poverty has no status. Poverty is a global phenomenon. In year 2000, the whole world came together and they developed what we call the Millennium Development Goal, 8 goals. And the first goal there is eradication of poverty, extreme poverty, and hunger. And that goal is a global blueprint, was operated upon for 15 years. And the Millennium Development Goal expired in 2015. And the world came together again. And they came about what we call Sustainable Development Goal again, 17 goals. And the first goal there is no hunger. And the second goal, no poverty. And the second one says no hunger. But despite all efforts by all nations, don't we have poverty among us today? We have it. Both within the spiritual environment and the other world, there's poverty everywhere. But poverty relates to individual, relates to community, and relates to a nation. But we'll be emphasizing the micro dimension of poverty. That is, how will you remove poverty mindset at your individual level? How will you enjoy financial security? And how will you leave something substantial for your children and the coming generation after you? Let me tell you, like what I've said, poverty, I'll be using experience and testimony throughout. I won't bother you with any financial jargon or any economic jargon at all. When you talk about poverty, you know that whatever the level of your education or status, doesn't matter. It's the mindset you are having. Let me share this experience with you. By the grace of God, I happen to be the president of a cooperative society in my university for 10.5 years. That gave me the experience to see the poverty among professors, among directors, among deans, and among lecturers generally. In 2018, December 22nd precisely, we were not paid for Christmas. And we had a meeting. All lecturers were there. And people were grumbling. They were shouting against our chairman, give us our money. Which money? 3 years before that time, we asked the university to be taking 5,000 from each lecturer to be saving it towards our retirement. If you are still going to spend 20 years, by the time you spend 20 years times 12 times 5, that one will be given to you by the time you are retiring, pending the time you'll be entitled to take pension, which is a very good idea. So this was the money these people are clamoring that should be given to them, that forget about retirement. We can't buy rice for our children. We can't buy fowl. These are professors, though. These are PhD holders, though. And some of us will be looking at them as if they are free from poverty. No. And the chairman was confused. Give us our money. We can't wait. We don't have anything to give our children. You are talking about retirement. And I left my seat. And I went to the chairman. I whispered to his hearing. I said, Chairman, tell them, if anybody is interested in borrowing 60,000, even if he has taken a loan yesterday, even if he's owing more than 2 million, whatever they are outstanding, it's inconsequential. We just cumulate it. If anybody is interested in taking 60,000, because by that time, the bag of rice was not up to 25,000, let them show up. That was the end of the meeting. Immediately the chairman announced. That was the end of they all ran out, including professors. The building where we have the meeting was part of the cooperative building. It's a hall at the back of the office. Come and see the way professors line up to take 60,000 to buy fowl. That will tell you that the issue of poverty has nothing to do with education. One can have money and still be beset by, what do you call it? Poverty mentality. So when you talk about poverty mindset, we are talking about poverty mentality, scarcity mentality. You always confess that money is scarce all the day long. And let me tell you, Proverbs 23 verse 7, the first part says, as he thinketh, so is he. Which means your mentality determines your finality. If you are thinking about scarcity all the day long, and say money is not sufficient, and this and that, if you are carrying that one, then poverty mindset will pervade every scarcity mindset or poverty mentality. Let me tell you, how can you know somebody is suffering from poverty mindset? The poverty of the mind is the worst poverty. Poverty does not mean because you don't have enough money to get your basic necessity of life, because you don't have money to send your children. No, that's not the issue of poverty mindset. Somebody can be rich and still be beset by poverty mindset. I have a neighbor. We were thinking that maybe the man belonged to a occultic organization. That's why he looks so shabby. But he was working in a very powerful company. This man we have a house in the same estate. This man studied petroleum engineering in the US. And he came to Nigeria to join Chevron. You know what it takes for somebody to be an engineer in Chevron? And this man had 2 daughters and 1 boy. This man, instead of putting 2 daughters in a very good school, Babcock, even his neighbor who's just working in insurance, who's not as rich as him, put all his children in a Babcock. And this man put his first daughter in a pre-degree program. And he had all the money. Because we are talking about giving passing legacy to our children. The children were not happy because they know the man was very rich. He put the first daughter in pre-degree. In the process, female cultists, they call themselves Black Brazier. That's the name of that female cultist. They introduced the girl. In the process of initiating this girl, the girl developmental problem. The second one came to my department. In fact, I supervised the girl. The girl finished in 2006. And they have a good result. And I went to this man's house. Please, this girl is very young. He's just around 19 and 20. After service, send this boy there to US or to UK or to Canada for masters. Even the worst, let this girl go to South Africa so that he has an international exposure. He said, forget about it. They are girls. She will end up being the wife of another man, and she'll be cooking. He's stickly rich. He has I know more than 3 of his fuel stations, petrol stations in Ado. He has money, but he's having poverty of the mind. Because when somebody is beset by poverty of the mind, you'll be looking for cheap opportunities, cheap things. You won't be able to optimize what you have. At the end of the day, that guy graduated and joined Zenith Bank. And a boy came from Germany to deceive this girl. Knowing that this guy was having another white wife in Germany and get this girl impregnated. That's how the girl was frustrated. And man came to me to say, sorry, Awe, and you told me the other day to send this girl abroad. Would you say that man is not having enough money? But yet, despite all the millions he was having, this man believed in cheapest option. That's one of the symptoms of poverty mindedness, scarcity mindset. You are looking for a quick way of making money, and it's your immediate financial need that preoccupies your mind, without any consideration for the future. You live for the present. It's a sign of poverty mindset. Then some of us believe that those who are successful make jest of them. It's like we in Ekiti. We'll be saying, we have that mentality. These Ijebu people, they do this, they do that. It was when I was lecturing in Ijebu in 1990 that I knew the difference. Why we Ekiti be going for history? We'll be going for philosophy. We'll be going for all these courses that are not marketable. An average Ijebu person will be studying accounting. We'll be studying professional courses. And when they are using that, getting money from portfolio investment, making fantastic millions, you'll be making jest of such people, you'll be telling stories. If you have that mentality, then you have a problem of poverty-mindedness. When you are thinking that those who made it, they made it through crooked means. No, not everybody made it crooked means. So, and when you see yourself as being helpless, as if you can't break that jinx of poverty, then that person will be entangled. And when you complain about every opportunity that comes your way, whereby you can mobilize financial resources to better your lot, and you always complain about it, or you have succumbed to faith, I don't know how to manage money, and there's nothing I can do about it. One can be well read, in good position. I have a mentor. He made the first class in mathematics in Uniben. He went to UI, he made distinction in mathematics. In record time, he made PhD in mathematics. And he became a director of computer center of a tertiary institution. That was 1987. I've just finished my service. And I was following him to office. One day we were coming. Whenever he gets money, the next place is to go to Bukateria. And when we sat down, he said that way. I said, yes. He said, I don't know how to retain money. He recognized that problem. He said I should advise him with the little knowledge I have about economics. I told him how he can manage his money here and there. Later, this man became a vice chancellor. And after his tenure, when you say somebody is a vice chancellor, he is surrounded by a lot of opportunities, financial, just mention it. When he came out of his tenure, he doesn't have any good car to drive. He has been privileged to be vice chancellor in 2 or 3 places. So you did that. What you say is not well highly placed. It's not having. So that is the problem of when somebody is having this problem. It's not a matter of the quantity of money, the volume of money at your disposal. It is your attitude. It is the way you see things. And that's why many of us believe that it's enough for me to send my child to school. Let me tell you, things are changing. Degree doesn't offer much today. Is the skill, presently I'm on sabbatical. That's my second time of being sabbatical at Landmark University. I came from Oman this morning. That's the second university of these winners. It's good we put our children in very good school, all these first generation university. But let me tell you, the exposure is limited. When I got to Landmark October last year, I was there 10 years ago. I discovered that things have changed. I didn't see any whiteboard anywhere. And I was seeing an electronic board. Each of them is more than 5 million now. Interactive board. I have to call one lecturer I supervise his PhD. Come and teach me how they use this to teach. Because I'm not used to it. You can only find all this board abroad for international conference. If I'm here, I didn't find it even abroad. And you will see these small children presenting, demonstrating on this interactive board. That will tell you that degree is different from degree. So when you put a child in school and you believe that's the end and you are now expecting the dividend of something, somebody will still be, you are supposed to still be training. Because that's the way we find ourselves now. The world is becoming competitive globally. And if it takes somebody who is financially inclined to see that you put your child in a highly competitive pedestal so that he can survive these present challenges you are having. So, if you are now having poverty mindset, how do you now free yourself from that? The first is self-awareness. You should know. That professor knew, right from the time he was not a professor, that he doesn't have the capacity to retain money. Are you that type that you are an impulse spender? You spend without being organized. No plan. You see this, you buy without planning before. So, you should realize that. The moment you are aware that, yes, so my personal financial management is very faulty. And if guys don't take it, you tend towards poverty. So, you be aware, and then you take steps to break it. Then you should have positivity mentality. You should believe that, yes, you can spend wisely. You have positive thoughts about money. And then you always emphasize abundance through the faith you are having in Christ Jesus. You emphasize wealth. You emphasize financial success instead of being complaining all the day long. That is positivity mentality. You need to create that. And you get yourself surrounded by people with possibility mentality. Don't know the people that complain. And that's why we find in most of our churches today, where you say you want to embark on this project, some people will come up to tell you that you can't see what the economy is saying. You don't surround yourself with such a person. So you need to surround yourself with people who believe that all things are possible to him that believes, that God can do it. Then you need to get educated. When I talk about education, it's not that you go back to school. No. If I ask us now, those of us who are carrying iPhone phone, no. How do you look at financial statistics on your phone? Do you check nairametrics? There's a body in Nigeria they call nairametrics. It's on our phone. If you want to see movement of shares, movement of government bonds, movement of treasury bills on a daily basis where you can put your money into, it's on your phone. That's education. You don't need to go to school. In 22 years ago, I was lecturing, I was teaching. And there was a boy in my class who is always very inquisitive. He'll be asking questions. And when the boy analyzes policies, and this boy is exposed, and he was not good in theory. One day I called him, I said, you are following me to my house. And you know it's a privilege. And we go to my house and then sit down. Let's forget about all those theory, all those statistics now. You are now the lecturer. Teach me how to invest. A true level student. The first two sets of shares I bought in Cornwall and First Bank, this boy guided me to push it, and I'm still holding to that share up to today, and I'm still giving dividend on them. That is education. That you are a professor, you are just a theorist. People that are exposed the outside. Even the students, you believe that you are teaching. So that's the education we are talking about, so that you are not deceived by your knowledge, whereas your pocket is empty. So that's it. So then, learn to set financial goals. Plan your money. You don't just, you may say the money is very small, learn budgeting. This one we go to this one we go to this one we go to with adjustment for variances. So you try to know how to budget. You learn how to invest. People are saying that how much is the money? Let me tell you, people are still investing. People are investing. It's not the quantity of money that matters. Your risk aversion. Your tolerance level. If you are not a risk lover, you can't invest. So you look at all those things. Your aversion to risk. You don't allow what is happening in the economy to derail you. You still plan, you get a bit to invest against the future. Then what do you try to do? Learn how to create emergency funds. In 1996, we went on strike during the Abacha era. For good 7 months, nobody was paid. All the lecturers over Nigeria. It was then I saw professors making soda soap to go and sell in villages. It was so tough, everyone, nobody expected it. When we recovered from that particular strike, I developed a habit. If I'm undergoing any project, and I know that my saving remains what can last me for 6 months, I will stop the project. That's emergency fund. But when you see what scenarios coming, you fall back on your emergency fund. That's how you can break it at temporary poverty. Because today may be in money and be swimming. Those lecturers who are asking that the money should be given to them, they were swimming in money before. They never behaved like Joseph in the Bible to throw some resources to the future. You know, that's what Joseph did in Egypt. He gathered during the year of abundance. You are my father in faith against the time of scarcity. That's what they failed to do. And Joseph did not go to any university and was better than Professor of Economics of today. So what are we saying? So then learn how to manage debt. There's nothing is wrong with debt. Debt is desirable. It depends on the application of debt. What did you put the debt into? If I take a debt of 5 million in a cooperative and I move to Nigeria Treasury bill market, yesterday I see check is 20.7% for 1 year Treasury bill. And I'm paying 8% to cooperative. And treasury is giving 20.7. There's 12% differential. And I use that debt to invest. I get something greater in return than the interest I'm going to pay on that debt. So, there's nothing wrong with debt. But you should know how to manage debt so that it will not incapacitate you from freely flow financial life. So, these are things one can do that one can break. Then you keep on learning. When you are trying to do all these things, it's a learning process. So, if you make a mistake, it's conventional. You go back again and try all over again. Even as good as one is, at times we still make some investment that will not be profitable. So, I bet you don't allow that one to discourage you. You keep on, then learn how to practice gratitude. If you are going to break, all of us, thank God we are men of God. Learn how to give glory to God for what God is doing. The financial level you find yourself, learn how to give gratitude. If you are not giving gratitude, you won't see God as be kind to you. You'll be complaining. And anybody complaining is suffering from poverty mindset. So let's learn how to really give glory to God for what God has given unto us. Now, I want to talk about financial security. What is financial security? It's your ability to meet your financial needs from time to time. You are able to get your basic needs without running into problem. You can live comfortably with your expenses, and you can still put some leftover in savings. And financial security is so fundamental for a Christian. We need to balance our life financially so that when we are having much money, know for sure that a time is coming when that money will not be flowing like before. And if you are the type who can organize yourself like that, so that when you have in excess, you don't just live by that excess, then you set something aside. You have control over your expenses, and you are living comfortably. At the same time, you can save for the future. We can say that you are enjoying some level of financial security. If you are going to do that, how will you be able to get that? You need to figure out the baseline of your income and expenses. That is, you should be able to know the minimum amount you need for decent living. Not that you are just living anyhow. You should be able to fashion out how much will it cost me to live comfortably from time to time out of my income. So you figure out your baseline income that will be able to meet your expenses. And then you try as much as possible to prioritize your needs above your wants. And that's why we have the problem. Most of us, we emphasize wants. I want duplex, but it's not a need. I want to ride Highlander 2022 model. It's a want. It's not a need. All I need is mobility, which any car can do. So, if you prioritize your needs above your wants, you will enjoy financial security. So that's why you see some people go into debt when they are living beyond their means. Most of the things we run after, we don't need them. Like the duplex I'm talking about. I have a lot of my colleagues that build duplex, and the duplex is an embarrassment today. When they were building those duplex, money was just flowing anyhow. And suddenly they brought a vice chancellor from Ife. You know Ife, they don't sell books. In my university, we are selling books. You can make more than 10 times of your salary in one Saturday. And you see ordinary GA, first degree holder, lecturer, building duplexes. And now, buying cars, 3 cars. Somebody who is here to get a master's. The lowest level in academics. And suddenly they brought a professor from Ife. You know people in Ife, they live in quarters. You may see a professor in Ife or UI who is here to build a house. Because they are comfortable there. They have duplexes. They tend towards the time of their retirement before they address their mind to build a house. But here is a place where you see ordinary first degree holder building duplexes. And suddenly this professor came and canceled books. If you try it, you'll be expelled. And the source of that income dried up. Now normal salary. They can't maintain that duplex now. Even by the time you do duplex, and all your children are out of the secondary school, and they graduated, you and your wife will be there. and then the blood becomes a fearful issue. You hear echo in the house, and you'll be afraid. It has been a want and not a need. And that's what many people pursue. And at the end of the day, they don't enjoy financial security. What can you do again? You ratchet up your savings. That is, you increase your savings from time to time. If you say Nigeria is still very bad, it's not a license. Not for somebody not to have the leftover you can fall upon. So we still need to be trying to save however little it may be. And then try to diversify your income base by having a secondary source of income. How do you diversify your income base? If you are a salary earner, you can still engage in other businesses that can bring in money. You can translate your skill to value addition to get money. So we've seen people will sit down and write. And the books will be selling. If you have that particular talent, you can do that. Some people may be given the talent of composing songs. And they will still be using that to make extra money. So you can do other things. You can organize yourself to get passive income. What you call passive income. The money you don't work for. You don't do any physical job here. You send your money to come and make money for you. That's the passive income. You engage in portfolio investment. How does it bring money? We are talking about share the other time. People still believe that, oh, the capital market is so terrible. Yes, it's terrible. But some firms are still paying dividends. Apart from the appreciation of the value. And you get all this money when you least expect. Even when you have money in those days, you put up some structures, some 2-bedroom flat, 1-bedroom flat, and then it's given out. And then you see the person coming to pay rent. And that rent can come at a time you don't even expect. Then you make optimal use of your transitory income. I thank God for what my daddy in the Lord who led us in prayer said. Many of us, this is where we have the problem. All the money you get, they are of two nature. You have permanent income. That is the salary or the money you get regularly. There's some money that comes once in a while. We were told that that man was just passing and God ministered to that person to go and bless him. And then in the process, he gave him 10 million. That's transitory income. It may not happen in the next 5-10 years again. How do you use that 10 million? Do you make an optimal use of that 10 million? You may have a brother in UK, you may have a son, and they say, oh, let me bless this daddy. And then they just send some money to you, maybe 500,000. It's a transition income. Do you plan for it? Or just sit up like that? So when you make optimal use of your transition income, it can enhance your financial security. So when you do all these things, you feel financially secured. Now, if you are going to be financially secure, you know you need some strategies and something you have to do. Because wealth creation is so fundamental and foundational when it comes to financial security. How do you generate more money in this country like this? When things are running salary, the value of money is going down every day. You discover that even when you have the money at times, the inflation has eroded the money. So what we are saying, essence, is that you need to engage in some other issues, other investments that can help you to generate more money. Because you cannot be secure when the money is not there. You can only manage what is existing. So what can we do? Everything is not about investing in stocks or the other. You can engage in two types of investment. We call one ownership investment, and we call one lending investment. What is ownership investment? Is when you decided if you engage in business. And when you look at Nigeria today, you may not have all the money in this world before you can engage in business. If you just take advantage of value chain in agriculture, or you take advantage of value chain in manufacturing, it can be a very veritable source of income for you. What do I mean by that? If somebody is producing cassava, we have the farmer in the farm. That's the starting point. So women will buy the cassava, then they will process it to gari. And that set of people will now buy that gari and sell it on retail basis. Between the production and the consumption, there may be 5 different types of occupation. That's what we call value chain. If somebody wants to generate income, why do you think most of these women, as early as 5 a.m., you find them in the market, they will buy from those who are coming from the farm, they will rebrand it again, either reduce it in size, they will sell to those people who are having bukateria business. Those people will process that one again, and those who want to buy food, want to eat food. And I've seen women that are training their children in that process. That's what we call value chain. So we buy all this raw rice when it's very cheap. They put it in the house for some time. Then when it comes to the peak of the year, they process, when there's food, scarcity, they process the rice, and then they can get double. The first vehicle I ever bought in my life was through that. That was 1996. I was only 22,000. The highest I've ever seen in my life. And by that time, 95, 96, I had the first child. Incidentally, my wife is from a royal family. And royal sister and brother were coming. They were spending this 22,000. I was not comfortable. This is my first 1,000 I've ever made in my life. Before I knew what was happening, the money was remaining 13,000. I looked for a very shattered tin of Maggi. And I put the 30,000 inside the Maggi tin. I put it in the wardrobe. Nobody could recognize it. When they got there, they couldn't find where is that money? I don't know the whereabouts as well, though. When it was evening, I picked that thing. I ran to my sister's place. And we used 30,000 to buy 22 bags of raw rice. We dried it. By April, when food was becoming very scarce, we processed that rice. It was that rice I used to buy the first 10-seater bus I bought, like this. And when I brought the car home, my brother, people will be saying behind every successful man is a woman. If I've not used that strategy to... now you have made the end of the money. So that is taking advantage of value chain. If you have connection with these people that are producing in manufacturing company, maybe soft drink, maybe all this Indomie, one can key into that. That's what we call value chain. You become a distributor. And through that, you can be getting additional income. So that's what we really help. Then you can go for skill acquisition. Today, you can learn any profession. It may be drawing. Even some people learn how to trade in Forex. It's a graphical analysis. How dollar will be moving like this, like this, like this. Some people are making money from that. And they will learn it. So you go for skill acquisition in any area. Or maybe you are talented in one area. You can refine that particular talent by going for skill acquisition to polish it. And that one can be a source of additional income. By the time you translate the skill you acquire to value addition, then extra income will be generated. Then you'll be empowered more than ever before to get financially secured. Another thing we can try to do again is that we can take advantage of real estate. Landed property, you buy low, allow some years, and then you sell at large. Let me tell you, let me share this experience with you. And I'm still going to emphasize that later. One of my children is a girl. The junior brother is a boy. The senior brother is a boy. I sent the two boys abroad to read medicine. And I kept that girl in Nigeria here to read law. Before they started, the girl lost a session to ASU strike. The girl spent more than 6 years. Not that he was failing, because of ASU strike. In the project, the boy, my pastor is there, my daddy, he knows what I'm talking about. And this girl, it was a terrible time. She was hospitalized. She was put on oxygen for 7 days. And she took 6 pints of blood. And people were accusing me that I'm gender biased. That because it's a girl, if I put him outside like other, would Okada come and hit her? But how you throw a girl of 14 outside the country? A girl of 15. So the girl managed to graduate. She went to law school. And suddenly, one of my students was in year 2000, 24 years ago. I'll be acting for him like a referee, filling reference form online for him. He just called me in 2021. He said, the guy said there's an advantage. I said, what advantage? He said, the boy is now a pastor in Northern Ireland, though. He's a pastor in Redeem, in UK, Northern Ireland. And the wife is a lecturer at University of Hull, 80 kilometers away from London. And the boy called me suddenly. And the boy said, oh God, there's an advantage. Only for one session. This school wants to attract more international students. They are reducing the school fees by 50%. And the school fees was £17,500. Even by that time, with official rate, when we were still permitted to use Form A to pay school fees abroad, it was 585 naira to the pound, which is now 2,000. He said, Oga, do you have any child that can take advantage of this? And I remember this girl. And this girl has suffered, though. This is a room for me to compensate to. But the money was not there any longer. What happened? The senior one who graduated from Russia as a medical doctor, I brought him to Nigeria. He passed the Nigeria exam that the Lord knows about what I'm talking about. And the boy refused to stay and went to US for post-medical training. That got more than 32 million from me, and I finished all my savings. And when this advantage came for this girl now, the girl has never been privileged. Nothing to pay. But I realized we are talking about transitory income and combining many things. In 2012, my mother-in-law died. And people were giving me gifts. The first gift I collected, I didn't take it to the burial program. I used to go and buy a landed property, believing that God will provide for the burial. So I bought 2 land. I first of all said to myself, and then we now went for the burial. And God saved us, we did the burial. It's a wife to another, so it was very costly. At the end of the day, I put up 3 flats on one of these plots. But when I knew how tenants were behaving, they won't pay. I was discouraged. And I left this building. And I realized that I can put this building to sale low. And I call a valuer, who happened to be a pastor in Winners. It's a valuer. Come help me value this place. And he did the valuation and put it at 8 million. I started with the land. Everything I spent on that house is not up to 2 million. And I sold it for 8 million. That's how I was able to send that girl as graduated now in UK. If I've not bought that land at that time, where will I go? That's what real estate can do. Especially landed property if it's secured. You keep on appreciating. And in the future, you use it to settle a lot of things. But if I say, let me now use it to build a duplex, this and that, is it duplex that will pay the school fees of the girl? Is that the duplex? That's why when you have transitory income, know how to manage it. Very close to that period, I went on sabbatical. And I called my wife before I left. I said, one money is coming, you know. The money comes once in 7 years. But at the minimum, it will take you to go on sabbatical. When you go, you come back, you spend another 6 years before you are entitled to another one. Provided you can get to, it's becoming scarce. I called my wife. This money comes once in 7 years. And I'm going. Don't ever believe that this money will affect the quality of your soup. Oh. Neither can it affect your wardrobe. Because it's a transitory income. And I opened an account in her name. After fulfilling all my spiritual obligations, I didn't touch kobo. Because my university will still pay me. And I came out of sabbatical exactly 10 years ago. And maybe the Satan was pushing me. And I called one of my postgraduate students now in Texas in US. I called her, please, I want to buy 2012 Highlander. By that time, exchange rate was 155 naira to the dollar. That's why you have to be keeping abreast, oh. I know movement of naira every day, oh, on my phone. And the boy said, plus the clearance are clearing and everything, 5.2 million. I said, no problem. And I said 3 million to this guy. The very night I sent, and he sent one picture of a car to me, very fantastic car. I showed it to my children. All of us are already driving it in our dream. The very day the boy got the money, he sent a message back to me, okay, that car has been sold. Let me be looking for another car online. I sent the message, I said, Akole, send the money back to me. He sent the money, I lost 9,000 in the deposit. That's better. And I put this money in the account. And 2 months after, we had a competition in the University Commission in Abuja on entrepreneurship. I was director of entrepreneurship in my university then. I took 22 students along with me for that competition, a whole week. When we got to Abuja, I was staying in one hotel, Agura Hotel, and my students were in 3-3. I was the only one in the room. And I was watching channel, and I saw a caption. Central Bank Monetary Policy Committee to meet next week to consider the valuation of the naira. By that time, the exchange rate of naira was 155 official. And the black market was just around 162. They were very close then. The same naira were now buying 1,500 plus. When I look at that particular news, I know that something's wrong, something's going to happen. We call it announcement effect. Before you know, people will be adjusting. The 1 week we spent in Abuja was like a year to me. We got home on Saturday. The first thing I did on Monday was to go to Zenith Bank. And when you approach the bank, you want to buy $1, they will call Aboki for you. Because they have given the money to Aboki to sell. The only thing they will do to save you is to use their mercury light to know that it's not a fake one. And it's already 180. We did that 1 week. It has depreciated to 180 to the dollar. I mean, to the naira to the dollar. I bought 7,000. The second day it became 182. I bought another 11,000. Before that weekend, it became 180 something. All the money I had, I used to buy dollar and I put it in my domiciliary account. It was this money that saved me to pay school fees for my 2 children abroad while reading medicine. Is it Islander that we pay that fees? So, when you get money, don't just believe that you just spend anyhow. No, how to diversify it. There's a medical doctor proud to this devaluation of the naira when naira was even as strong as the dollar. He's a medical doctor. He's not an accountant. He's not an economist. So he has been saving his monthly saving in hard currency. Tell me what that doctor will worth now. So that's why I want this, all this exposure. So you can again all this thing, and then that one will give you more capacity to. I'm watching my time. I have 22 minutes to go. So, because I want to emphasize, I'm here to get to that place. So, then you can embark on lending investment. One of them is you have a good savings account. You save in a high-yielding savings account. There's some savings account you have towards a specific goal in life. And when you approach the bank, I want to save this money and I don't want to be withdrawn from it. The rate will be higher. You dare not withdraw from it. Unless when you say you want to terminate that account. We have Zenith, Save for Me. We have Save Targeting UBA. You approach them. I want to put this saving is towards school fees payment at so point in time. And I don't want to touch it. And I want to save it. And when you are saving, you are lending your money to the outside through the bank. So it's a lending investment. You can back upon, and anybody can say, you can back on treasury bill we are talking about. When Buhari first came, treasury bill that was around 2017, 2018. It was around 70%, 80%. The Lexus I bought that year, 2018, I bought it for 3.8 million. I didn't borrow kobo. It was a proceed of treasury bill. When you take the treasury bill, it's a short-term instrument that government used to borrow money from the public through the central bank. We have 91-day maturity. We have 6 months maturity. We have 364-day 1 year maturity. The longer, the higher the yield. By that time it was 80%. And suddenly central bank came out with a policy that unless you have minimum of 50 million, you cannot do it. Most of us. And it came to a point in Buhari era that it became less than 2%. But Tinubu came. And it still started yielding. So the money you put in that savings account, you are not borrowing money, you are not trading now. You are making passive income. The money in that high savings account, which is not more than 7-8%, I started reading from Nairametrics and some other, this thing, now all the restrictions given by Buhari government has been removed. The yield of this thing has gone up. And I said a note to the UBA manager, who happened to be my student before in my university. I said, is it possible for me to take the money I have in this save for me account for treasury bill? He said, it's possible, no problem. I came on Friday all the way from Omaro. He gave me the form I filled. By Monday, the auction took place, this auction, in Central Bank. You don't go anywhere. The bank will just send the form I filled electronically to the headquarters. I just discovered that the money in my account was off. And these people have carried out this operation. Within 2 hours, I saw an interest of 1.5 million for 1 year. That's treasury bill for you. As at yesterday, for 1 year, is 20.7%. That of 6 months, around 80%. You monitor from your phone. And you are not running after anybody. At times, the money to use for it may be a borrowed money. I want to have accumulated over the years. So, and if I use that one to pay the school fees of my children, for that year, I'm covered. And the money remains intact. When it will be exactly 364 days, I will see that money in my account and alert. Central Bank can restore my money. That's it. If it's 3 months after 21 days, it will come around. So, these are areas one can try as much as possible to get financial security. Or if you now know you have the money that you can close your eyes up to 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, you go for government bonds. It's of longer duration. And bonds is more stable than treasury bill. It's not volatile. It's very stable. And then you lend it to something. Have a senior. You don't need to be an accountant. This my senior, it was my senior in secondary school. It was my senior in university, Red Mercy. He became a doctor in 1985. Some years we didn't meet. Later I learned that he's now working in Chevron. Then I was going for a competition with my student in Victoria Island. I put up in his house. And when I got to his room, he said we should be gisting like when we were in those secondary school in those days. And I saw a whiteboard in his room. Doctor, what are you doing with this whiteboard? He said he's using it to practice principle of account, a medical doctor. He has made up his mind that he was not going to practice medicine after leaving Chevron. He's not going to practice. Because the type of treatment they give to their workers, nobody can afford it outside. And he said he's not ready to lower his standard because of money. And he has been investing in shares. He said he would like to manage his own share. He now put it for professional exam in stockbroking. All those people you see wearing red something and no doing foreign exchange, a medical doctor for that matter. He will read book like this, he go and practice principle of account. He passed the foundation exam. For him to get the professional one, professional two, which is more complex, he worked out his transfer from Lekki headquarters of Chevron to Escavos in Delta. So that when he goes with the engineer for 2 weeks, he'll be given 2 weeks leave. And then we use that 2 leave to go to tuition house to go and study. By 2008, he became a chartered broker, a medical doctor for that matter. Somebody who never read economics, never read accounting. That one was there. And then he now went to university for PGD education. He said, we'd like to have a school. If you are from Akure, you will see a school, they call it Telnet. Telnet International School. It's the owner of that school. So how to manage school. From mercy to stockbroking, from broking to proprietorship of a secondary school and primary school. You can't see with 2,000, 200,000 phone. It's not possible. See normal phone with him. See not to say hello. That's all. Bishop Oyedepo said, I don't know now, he said one Nigerian spend on data and airtime is almost 50 billion monthly on Nigerians. Said, what value has he been adding? Said, Bola, oh, so Wapa, how are you? You have spent 50 naira. Has he added any value? And we say we don't have money. But we keep on having data. We keep on having all these things. So you can engage in all these and then enhance your financial capacity to be secured. All you need to do is to approach somebody. You don't need to go to school. It's a matter of enlightenment. In fact, when I was handing over the cooperative, I was president for 10.5 years. They asked me to reproduce myself. Otherwise, you will go. Then I went to a professor of physics. I've heard that it's very decent, very transparent. And I went to him, please, come and succeed me. He said, Oga, I'm a physicist. I said, you don't need that. All you need to succeed is honesty and transparency. The accountant will be doing your work. And he took over the job. I handed over 76 million to him. And then he said, Oga, how do we invest this money? And I took him in my car to go and see this medical doctor in his school at Akure. It has nothing to do with Professor of Economics. We are talking about practical. And when we got there, and this doctor opened his exercise book. The one he did for 5 years, the one he did for 15 years, the one for... We are just watching like this. That is what we are talking about. So it doesn't take you to go back to school. It's a matter of going to professionals, those who have such exposure. When you get money, how do I manage this money? And then you put in a place. And when you have all these things that are yielding extra source of income for you, then it will enhance your financial freedom and your financial security. Now, the last point, which is the most important, intergenerational wealth. Wealth is becoming increasingly intergenerational. Why do you think most of these people that have access to natural treasury, either governor, either the position, they are stealing billions? They know they can't spend the money. They are piling up for the generation yet to come. But as believers, we can't do that. And we want to leave something substantial for the children come behind us. When the world came together, United Nations, they talk about sustainable development or sustainable income. What do they have in mind? That while you are meeting your own need, you must not compromise the capacity of the coming generation to meet their own needs. You don't develop without using natural resources. You'll be using petroleum resources, forestry, you'll be taking solid minerals, you'll be getting money. What are you going to leave for the coming generation? That's why they came up with what they call sovereign wealth fund. Sovereign wealth fund. That when you are making this money as a nation, this is what you keep for the next generation because all these resources must have been exhausted. And of all the petroleum exporting countries, Nigeria has the least. We're not saving anything for the coming generation. If a nation is failing in that capacity, you at the individual level, we shall not fail in the mighty name of Jesus. So when you talk about generational wealth, it's transfer of wealth, transfer of material resources to the coming generation. Because at times when we look at these children, the very day I finished my own level in 1980, I approached a principal. It was in his very, very sitting room. He offered me a teaching job. School staff told her, the day I collected my wife, I showed him my wife. That in his parlor. Two of us. The second person was pronounced a professor of surgery day before yesterday, my friend, that we were in the university together then. He was from a poor family like me. The principal gave us that job. And our salary was 150 naira, minus tax, 5 naira, making 145. I and this guy, we came together to be contributing 100 naira. Money was valuable then. It was that money we saved for 2 years that took us to university. I brought jam letter home. My father told me that I should not bother myself. That go and look at your brother. I said, school side told her, he has built a house. Go and be using school side to work. I said, don't worry, I have money. The first 2 years I spent in university, it was my personal savings. It's not that these were not around and all the Brazilian shoes that one can spend money upon. So, but so we now graduate today with first class. Does it translate to an automatic job? So that's why we need to really pass part of the resources we are enjoying to this coming generation. When you are generating tangible wealth, it's as if you are planting a tree out of which you can eat or you may not be able to eat from it. You want to enhance the capacity of the children coming after you to survive financially. And it's very crucial. It's very crucial. Most of us who are enjoying now, at times when you look, it was in the days of Albert Einstein, who said, no, give me a space, or Shakespeare, I will move there. Nobody will give you a space now. You are the one who create a space for yourself. I want to enhance the capacity of your children to have a space to survive. Job has become internationally mobile. Then how do you enhance the capacity of your children to cope with the international or global competitiveness? That's where the question lies. And that's why we need to pass a lot of wealth. And when you are talking about wealth, it's not only money. When you say you are transferring wealth, it's not only money. So I want to talk about 4 types of wealth because I have 10 minutes to go. The first one I'm talking about is investment in biblical financial wisdom. We are all capable of giving that. What legacy are you giving to your children about money? Do you allow your children to know that God is the source of all wealth? That's the point. Why do we have Yahoo all over the places? If they know God is the source of all wealth, would they be going extra spiritual to look for money that can shorten their life? So the 4 legacies we can pass to our children is we'll allow them to know that God is the source of wealth and financial sufficiency, wealth sufficiency is of God. We should allow our children to first of all know that. Because otherwise, you see all these children now looking for money in a place where they cannot get, that will not glorify God. Then, can your children learn financial transparency from you? Are you open? Does your children, or do your children know what is your account? By the grace of God, all my children, they know what I have. And they know what I want to use the money for. I will tell them, I have this. It's for so. I had that domiciliary, I had that normal account. All my children know what I have. If they know how much of the mother. Then in handling money, can your children see sincerity in you and forthrightness? Can your children see, are you passing the legacy of contentment on financial matters to your children? That they need to be contented with whatever they have. So, and then, are they learning from you how to demonstrate faith as far as finances are concerned? Demonstration in financial matters. And God will do it too. Then, have your children been learning faithfulness in financial issues towards God and man? How did Jacob know that he should pay tithe? It's not because he has had it from his forefather Abraham. Has your children, many of your children, be following after you in that manner? There's a little girl. When you give 5 naira right from primary school, you will pay 5 naira. You develop that habit. That girl now is in Redeemer University. And he approached the university that he has been paying tithe. He's a worker there. He's reading law. The school fees is 1.47 million. And they gave that form that is a tithe payer in Redeemer University. It's a rebate or 150,000 scholarship per year. And this girl filled the form. I told her that form will not be approved. He said, well, Daddy, what do you mean? I said, who to mention the name of your father there? And they know that your father has the capacity to pay your school fees. He said, Daddy, I do pay tithe. I'm a worker in the university. I have the record of that I'm paying. You fill the form. She's my last born. When they see Professor so, they know that you are not entitled to so. Your father will be able to pay you. He said, Father, let me fill this form. And I signed as a father. They posted the form in Ado. I never knew that their province is under Port Harcourt. They took this form to Port Harcourt. It was in the roundabout to my house. They called this girl to come and get the approval. And she has been enjoying 150,000 scholarship on yearly basis. How much has she paid by tithe? If you are not seeing our mother doing it, will you have that culture? So these are the financial, biblical financial wisdom that our children need to learn from us. Transparency, honesty in dealing with financial matters. Then pass across your children financial literacy. Sit your children down about money. That money is desirable. Money is godly. How he can make money in such a way that God will be glorified. Teach him how to invest in the future. The little money. I was in state assembly when my first son became 10 years. And I told this boy, I will buy 10-year gift for you. I went to First Bank. I bought 10,000 units of First Bank shares for this boy to mark 10 years. That shares today is around 30-something units. And they keep on paying the dividend to this boy, despite the fact it's in US. The mother will receive it here. And when the boy graduated, he started talking about investment. I said, come, you don't invest another man's money. You wait till when you make your own money. And I never knew. And this boy went for postgraduate medical program in Michigan and US. And I said 5.6 million school fees. And he took 1 million of it without telling me to go and invest in Sapphire. Sapphire is producing all this perfume. Up to today, he said that is 12.5%. I said, don't be carried away with the percentage. It is the security of the principal that matters. And the boy didn't allow me. He picked 1 million of that money and paid to Sapphire. Up to now, Sapphire has not paid cover. The money cannot be recovered. But all thing I know is this. He knows that that is the risk in investment. He knows that he needs to invest. He do put some little dollars in US. Within 2 days, it must have needed $50. So let them know. I can make cake. It's good though. 7-degree cake. All those things for bad day. But that shares I bought to mother thing because of a bonus issue. What do you call it? Right issue. It's more than 30 units now. It has increased in number. So let them learn from you that it's possible to save towards the rainy day. And that one is you invest in your children human capital. When I talk about human capital, you are talking about health, education, and training. Let me ask you, answer within you, it's a rhetorical question. What quality of education are you giving to your children? Can you go extra mile? And put, all schools are good though. I'm not saying schools are not good. But there are some schools where you graduate, they have a respect for you more than other schools. While I was president of the cooperative, there was a lady. He was pronounced associate professor before he was in biochemistry. She became my daughter, academic daughter, through issue of money. The husband was assistant pastor in Redeem. This lady went to India for PhD in 2010. He was in India. And the husband visited, got to India December 26th, and died December 28th. It was a controversial death. This lady was troublesome before. And the family believed that he must have been responsible for the death of their son. They carried out more than 4 different types of autopsy for this man before he was buried. I attended the burial. And he left 3 sons for this woman. Because of the controversial death, the family left the woman and the 3 sons alone. And for this man to complicate her matter, he put the first son in Babcock for medicine. The second one, read chemical engineering in Ife, and made the first class. Last one is now in final year, electrical electronics in Ife. But that one he put in Babcock. He started 1.8 million. By the time the boy got to 300 level, 400 level, the school fees was 3.2 million. And this man could not pay. She was a lecturer 1. Even her salary for a year is not out of 3.2 million. And in Babcock, out of that money, they will give you ticket to Fiji. And the boy will not pay. And the boy will not get money to it. And the lady will come to me and be weeping. Emergency loan today, emergency loan tomorrow. It got to a point I told this lady, your loan is now double of what you qualify for. And I can't put my integrity at stake. And one day he came to meet me. He said, Daddy, I don't want your official driver to go with us. I want to take you to somewhere. He took me to Uroko. It was at the back of the market, inside town, not in the bush. And he showed me a building. Very big, massive building. Up to little level. Under 4 rooms, he has plastered. It has not done the window. He said he called the 3 boys to a meeting. I can't pay this school fees. What do we do? And people said, Mommy, go and sell that house. Let's do whatever we can do with it in the future. God will help us to build for you. And he started looking for buyer. I got to the place. I said, let's pray. While I was praying, he was weeping. We prayed, we left. And because he was desperately in need of money, this politician and the people who can pay, the lady was taking him to the house. We are trying up to 5 million. They were giving him 3 million. After much, and that man came and gave him 3.5 million, and she sold the house. She balanced the school fees with the remaining 2 million. She used 500,000 to buy a computer for those who are in Ife, and then used and down the remaining million to pay ahead of the next session. Today, that boy is a medical doctor. Can you go to that extent? Invest massively in your children. Gone are the days. Even when you qualify, you say, I'm a pharmacist. It's a starting point. Our pastor at Tikere, Pastor Akiroto, the son finished biochemistry in Ife. And later the boy went back again for medicine. And the boy became a resident doctor in UI. And the boy started writing PLAB. That's the license exam before you can practice in UK. If it's US, they call it USMLE. That's why it's more complex. You will spend more than $10,000 before a student can write that exam, before he can cross to US to go and practice. At the end of the day, the boy went. The second stage of PLAB, you have to be there physically. Daddy told me that he spent 3.6 million before the boy could finish PLAB. And the boy, after finishing PLAB, just left UCH. He's in UK, has bought a very fantastic Fanta for the father. Why can't he stay at that level? My present assistant pastor, the daughter finished physiology from UI. What are you going to do with physiology? You are not a medical doctor. The best you can do is to become a PhD and be teaching basic medicals. And the girl got married. After he got a child, she went back to UCH again for medicine for 5 years, a married woman. As I'm talking, he's doing her house job at Teaching Hospital at Ado. That is improvement. You invest massively on these children to the point that, yes, internationally, he's competitive to get any job of his liking. And the resources to do that, God will give us in Jesus' name. And finally, investment in social capital. Of all investment, this one is the most intergenerational in nature. And it doesn't involve money. It is a product of your interaction with people. I told you of that, my daughter. That my student I've supervised 24 years ago was the instrument when the guy was going. I started looking for accommodation around the school. And I called the guy. Please select for me which one this boy will go because my first son when he travel, run into problem. She secured accommodation in Nigeria here, in US. On going to US, he discovered that his roommate was a German and a gay. How can you be little a gay? With your ring. So I asked the boy to go and look for another accommodation. It cost me another extra $2,000. But for your security. So I didn't want to make the mistake on this girl. And I called out my student who's a pastor in another island. But he's running master in that school. I said, please, help me select the best way that this best accommodation. He said, oh God, don't worry. I will go and pick your daughter in the airport and you'll be staying with me until you understand the environment. My daughter spent 4 months in his house. Not looking for accommodation. If it's just £400 per month, is that not £1,600? Apart from the fact that the girl was able to understand the environment, the product of our interaction when I was supervising him. That's what we call social capital. If you treat people very well, as a pastor, you contribute to invest in the progress of products or of your members. You pray for them. You do this. And that person is successful. Wouldn't you look back? By the grace of God, I had my inaugural lecture last year. I've been postponing the inaugural lecture because of money. Because I couldn't combine it with the dollar I was paying abroad. But last year, I was about to leave office as dean. And my wife said, do this thing by faith. I was afraid of the money. To the glory of God. I don't know how my students, they heard about it. By the time I finished the inaugural lecture, I counted the money my students, both in Nigeria and diaspora, gave me. It was 3.15 million. And I didn't spend up to 2.8. That's what we call investment in social capital. I ran up with this testimony from late Olimo Ogunje. That will be my final testimony. When he was alive, he told me a story. He was reading one Red Jeep, at that time Highlander. He said DSF in Futa, maybe some of us must have had the testimony before him when he was alive. He said he went to Futa to minister. And after ministering, a boy was carried away. And after the boy approached him, and he said, sir, there's one scholarship. Only 2 slots for Africans. You can pray for me to get this scholarship. He said, he was moved. He said, oh, I need them. And he prayed for that boy. Some months after, the boy called him that he has succeeded in being one of the 2 Africans that got that scholarship. And no money for preliminary documentation. Professor Abel Awe now sold that particular Jeep. I know who bought it. One of our district pastors bought the red Jeep from Abel Awe to help that boy to do the preliminary expenses. Tell me, all things being equal, will that boy not remember his children? That's what we call social capital. Somebody learning under you as a professional, are you wicked to them? Somebody, do you add value to the people, the congregation you have, so that in the future, maybe that the people will lift your children up. And it doesn't cost a couple. It's a matter of human relation. God bless you.